Yeah, Jamin, I'm going to start with a question from Josh, and you all can use that raise hand features. Jamin, your role has heightened drastically. How much pressure do you feel stepping into that role, and what are you seeing from the guys behind you?
Honestly, it's not really a lot of pressure at all. I just try to make sure I could be the best version of myself that I possibly can, and just making sure that I step up and be vocal as a leader. So it's not really any pressure at all, to be honest.
John Hale.
Jamin, what was working well for you down the stretch last season when you started playing so much better, and then what from that can you build on now going into this bigger role?
I'll just say my confidence grew a lot more, and just making sure that I knew what I was supposed to be doing on the field, and just not feeling like I was so robotic in my movements and whatnot, and just playing my own game.
All right, Josh had another one. He said your bio says you were born in Honolulu. When did you move from there? Do you remember much about it, or do you ever visit?
That was when I was a baby, like pretty much a newborn. So as soon as I was born, I pretty much came to Huntsville, Georgia, Fort Stewart, 912. So it wasn't really much of a life for me there in Hawaii. So,
Jeremy?
Jamin, what are some of the things that you can credit to the big jump that you've made in your play? For you, is it mostly practice? Has it been success in games? Is it film study? Or is it a combination? Like, what are things that you think have really helped you elevate your play the most?
Definitely a little bit of both. And I also give a lot of credit to Cash, because last year we used to have a lot of personal conversations in our hotel room and whatnot, and just making sure I practiced like I expected to play and just playing my game. So I just did what I could do as best I possibly could, and my game just grew from there, I guess.
J-Drum?
Hey, Jamin, I was wondering, Brad White mentioned to us Thursday that he thought kind of your relationship with DeAndre was kind of a good thing, that you guys play off of each other there on the inside. Could you just kind of talk about how that works and, you know, the relationship you two guys have?
Yeah, definitely. Around the time, even when Square first got here, we were like automatically clicking. Me, him, and Chris were already really close. So it was just always chemistry there between us two, and we just ready to just take this thing to the next level, to be honest. We just always been close. So
if I could follow up, is that a big deal when you guys have to communicate so much and kind of being in the middle of the defense?
Definitely.
Big Gabriel?
Yeah, and you don't look Hawaiian, but it's pretty cool you were born there. Your quarterbacks talk about the game slowing down for them. Is that similar with what's been happening with you? And on another note, could you just describe what's the greatest challenge or some of the challenges of being an SEC linebacker?
I would say one of the greatest challenges off top is just everything is so fast-paced, and if you're not crisp inside of the meeting rooms and whatnot, everything would just be a big blur to you. So as far as that, I would just say staying inside of the playbook, doing what you got to do so everything can make your confidence grow much more. So definitely.
Yeah, Jimmy, he also asked if the game has slowed down for you like it does for a quarterback. Does that happen with the linebacker as well?
It honestly never was really like too fast for me. I always just tried to, like I said, stay better than my playbook and making sure that I could stay crisp with everything I did at both Mike and Will. So as far as that goes, just making sure I could just stay crisp everywhere, and just everything was just a natural speed for me.
John Hale?
Jamin, a lot of guys have talked about keeping Chris Oats in their minds as you all go into the season, but especially in your room and in that position group, how much is that a topic of conversation playing for him this year?
Definitely. That's something that all of us try to leave in the back of our mind, knowing that at any moment this game could be taken away from us, and we just always keep Chris in our thoughts and prayers. And, you know what I'm saying, like we just always make sure that we keep him and his family at, you know, our thoughts and prayers at the top of our minds. So we just do what we can to honor him as best we can, and just know that we're doing everything for 22, honestly.
Jeremy?
Jamin, talk a little bit about your leadership style. You talked about how Cash was instrumental for you in your growth. Who are some of those players that you're actively taking under your wing, and how do you go about doing that?
I would say two of the main players I would take under my wing would probably be Marquez Bembry and De'Aaron Jackson. And I'm not really like a rah-rah guy as far as how Cash was. I'm more of like I would say lead by example. I'm not the type to just run and get all in your face and whatnot. But at the same time, if I feel like something needs to be said to, step up and make corrections, I'll do that when it's needed. But as far as like just all the extra noise and whatnot, I just do whatever I can to show what should be done the correct way and hope that guys follow up underneath my wing.
Dick?
Jamie, we talked to a lot of the players about this, and you may have already answered this, forgive me, but so many of the preseason predictors are making themselves heard now. And once again, they've got Kentucky with predicting another mediocre season. I guess it's because Lynn's gone, but they don't really realize, I guess, the depth you'll have coming back. Is that motivation for you guys, or do you just ignore that?
Definitely. It's motivation, but at the same time, we try as best we can to just stay away from all that. We don't really pay attention to that. We just play our game, and just at the end of the season, everything will show for itself. So we don't really worry about that as much.
Lonnie? Lonnie, you with us, bud?
Jamin?
There we go.
Yo,
Jamin.
what's up?
We got you, Lonnie.
Okay. Jamin, I wanted to ask you, how is Casey coming along in terms of that other inside linebacker spot as far as the backups are concerned? Him and I get him and Bembry, but Casey, I don't hear much about him.
I would say his game took a huge jump as well. The main thing now is just making sure he understands just he can be his best, the best version of himself that he possibly wants to be, and just making sure that he gets his eyes right and whatnot. And just basically the same as any other backer that we have on the team, just making sure we crisp in the playbook. And, as far as that goes, I would let him speak for himself on that. He could be the best version of himself that he possibly wants to be.
Thank you.
All right, guys. I'll wrap it up with Jamie. We'll have Clevan here in just a second.